Hi to everyone. Welcome to IWUclose podcast. I'm your host, Peter, and together we're going to dive into the world of innovation, industry trends, and the stories that shape up our organizational culture. As a company, we believe in the power of storytelling to inspire, educate, and connect people, and that's exactly what this podcast aims to achieve. Today's our first guest is Alex, owner of the biggest IT Macedonian company on the market. We're going to talk about 4 core values that shape up this company. So, Alex, welcome, and let's begin.
Day's almost over, and in a few hours I'm heading out of the country. So Peter has been harassing me for the past few days to get in front of a microphone and talk about stuff. So I'm honored and happy that we have the opportunity to talk about what really is the basis of who we are.
Alex, we have 4 core values.
Yes.
Can you please explain me why did you pick those? What is the most important thing that everybody needs to know about them?
So we didn't pick anything. We basically asked ourselves, what kind of a life do we live? And honestly, from my perspective, when we were talking about this, I went the other way. What would upset me the most? What makes me more angry than anything else? What disappoints me more than anything else? And we actually had more than 4 core values, and then we compressed them a little bit because it became simpler to maybe understand. But to be honest, I don't know if it resonates with everyone in the same way. So I'm actually glad we are doing this. But why we picked integrity? Integrity is a core belief or a core value that for me, if you don't really go out with absolute honesty, especially when it's not going to feel well, then you really can't behave normally. You can't really go in front of a customer or a partner or anyone, as far as I'm concerned, and speak about anything else. So how I got to that point is I started seeing people promising or over-promising, under-delivering, and simply not acting professionally with absolute integrity. So we said, well, we don't like that. At least I said it. The folks that were part of the team at the time said, yeah, that's reasonable because it pisses us off as well. And we added it in. We said, if we can't act with unquestionable integrity, it's one of the core values for my family values as well, then we really aren't worth anything. You can't really act in any decent manner if you don't do that with integrity. And what's really key about that is when we make a mistake, when we really just do a lousy job, which happens once in a while, it's inevitable, then we're going to stand up and be brave about what basically we did. And at the same time, we're going to own to that and come up with solutions. Because if we are going to act as if things are always going to be great, we're just liars. So rather than doing that, why don't we say that we are going to screw things up? We will admit it. We will own up regardless of the consequences. But we certainly promise something to everyone, internally as well as externally. When we goof up, we will make it right, no matter what.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes that's impossible, and we'll own up to that too. And we've lost business because of that, obviously, in certain cases. But we never steer away from what happened because it's much simpler afterwards. Once you know exactly what happened, then all the other noise is gone. And now we have only one thing that we are dealing with. Let's go solve it. And that's where the why it's unquestionable. Because, it's a slippery slope. When you say, well, we are only going to do it once. Well, that's the whole point. You either have integrity or you don't. If you're questioning it, then you don't. You just don't have it. And it's kind of a sad story for people that try to explain it. I choose not to explain integrity because it's not something I question. You either have it, it's black or white. If you have it, you act 100%. can't be 99.99999. It's all the time. And it has to be perfection. And that perfection, although I treat it as the lowest standard you can have, right? If you say, oh, we're going to be perfect, that's just a lousy way of saying it's okay to fail. Meaning I'm not going to try because I'm never going to achieve this, so it's fine, right? That's the lowest standard you can set. Well, for integrity, I don't think that's the case. Integrity is achievable. It just sucks, right? In some cases, you'll be like, crap, this is really painful. That's okay. So that's where integrity came from.
In a manner, you need to be honest by yourself that I made a mistake, but I need to grow up and I need to achieve to have any solution about the problem that I didn't succeed to solve in any case.
Yeah, and actually that's where the second one comes from. If you truly have integrity, when you hit a wall, and it's a very tall wall, hey, I promised something, it'll be Jan 1 when it's done, and it's December of the next year, then it's like, okay, well, what the hell? Well, you need to be really adventurous to be able to get out of that mess. That's where adventurous growth comes from. And all of these are really interconnected. Our adventurous growth is really tied to our ultimate fulfillment. Because if you don't grow, if you don't move forward, if you don't progress, if you don't climb constantly, you are really dying. And we obviously have the saying, you really grow or you die. And a lot of people hate that, which I don't really give a damn. It is, in reality, it's the truth. If we just sit here, we'll die eventually.
Yeah.
Right? So if you compress the time, sitting and change while sitting is inevitable. Right? You don't have to do much. If you just sit, we'll change. But growing and advancing is not. So we made it dramatic to say that you either grow or you will really die. And obviously that's meant to be dramatic and it's meant to be out there. But it comes from the integrity. We will hit a wall. We will overpromise, which is what we want to do. Right? We always want to do something more. And if you have the true integrity, when you get to a point of an impossible situation, then you have to be adventurous. You have to be creative. You have to come up with something exotic to be able to move forward. Well, how easy is that, right? If we were all creative, we wouldn't need AI and stuff, right?
That's what differs us from the AI, ChatGPT.
That's right. So being creative about something, or being innovative, or being exotic or adventurous, it's all really the same thing. It's more of a question when you come to a full stop, something that's unimaginably hard right now. What do we do? Well, if you aren't really valuing growth, if you aren't really valuing happiness after you have the hardest conquest finished, after you really become a hero because the problem was unimaginable, then what the hell are we trying to do, right? So that's how we tie growth. It really comes from impossible situation that we're really going to try to change or come up with a solution, but if it was so easy, then it's not growth. If it's an impossible solution, then you got to come up with something really innovative or creative or adventurous. The path has to be somewhat exotic for you to actually get there.
What's most interesting in IWConnect that you never grow by yourself. You always have a help from another team player, employee, one team member who always keep your back. That is what's most interesting, absolute fulfillment or the ambitious family, because. We have a chit chat with the colleagues from Novi Sad, and the new employee just said it. For me, the most interesting thing is that here everyone wants to help you. You're never stand alone, and that for me is what differs IWConnect from the other companies.
So it's a very valid point, and I had. Our monthly with the new folks coming in, and we talked about this. But I don't convert that to want. Mm-hmm. There's a need. The way we've programmed ourselves is that part of the absolute fulfillment is not really just about money. in most cases, people interpret absolute fulfillment with money or things that you have, and after a while, it's a very sad story. You can have all the money, all the things in the world, and you'll be alone. Because if you have it all, no one else has it. If you think about it, right? It's a really a simple thing. If I have it all, if that's what I need to be happy, then by definition, if I have it all, then no one else says anything.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of a life would that be? It'll suck. Right? You will be very lonely. So the true fulfillment comes from, making sure your basic needs are covered, making sure you have your significance, you are valued in some way, making sure that you have the ability to go and basically play around with some stuff, right? And obviously, when you have some variety and touch different technologies and whatnot, you do go through some growth, but you're feeling happy inside as well because there is that variety. It's not always perfect as it can ever be, but ultimately, you are enjoying what you're doing. And that's where it comes to the really, in my mind, important part about what makes you actually fulfilled. If you are growing and you're using that growth, whatever skill you attain, you hone, whatever you learn to actually give as a gift, as a contribution to someone else, that's really addictive. If you can constantly grow so that you can gift someone something, it could be money, right? It could be knowledge. It could be attention. Then they become addicted to you, but it goes the other way around. You become addicted to the ability to do that over and over and over again. So when people say, "Well, so and so is so nice," they're such a lovely person. Yes, they are, but they're fulfilling a need. They have an internal desire that we've created over time. That if they don't do that, they feel bad inside. And what's the beauty of it? They feel bad inside if they don't help. They feel bad inside if they haven't grown enough so that they can keep helping out. And that's the secret sauce for us as a company, right? That we eagerly want to grow, and sadly, some people don't want to, and they feel very unhappy. So we help them out, go find, whether through our educational center or through our HR and support team, we help those people out of the company, but in a gracious way. We find them jobs in, sadly, unhappy companies, right? We tell them, if you want to stagnate, if you want to just sit around, if you want to earn money without actually ever feeling great about it, we know the place, right? We have myriad of those. Sadly, the marketplace in IT in general and worldwide has changed to where money is the only thing, but that's just a sad story because it rarely turns to anything positive. Yeah, you may be happy for 3-6 months, but you can buy so many phones, so many cars, so many apartments, so many dinners that you can buy, so many trips. Ultimately, you're alone, right? If you think about it. After doing all of that, not everyone can afford it. Then you end up, again, being alone and rewind back what happens when you're alone. It sucks. Well, it is what it is.
Nelson Mandela also, his movement was, in one word, for African people also in that period of time. Actually, we have operation system with the same name. It's called Ubuntu. It became if I want to become a human or growing as a person, I need to help someone to become more successful than me, so I can be more successful as by myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's we call it something else, right? But it's the same concept. If you rise above someone, well, lift someone up. Bring someone back with you, because it's lonely to be up there for too long. And sometimes leadership is a trait that makes you lonely at some point. But how we've grown is by actually bringing up leaders. As we see someone progressing, they had integrity, they grew, they've been helping, but after a while, they got to a point where they feel lonely. And that's where the ambition for a family comes from, right?
That's
the fourth value. And why? Because it sucks to be alone. But we also don't want to just share the knowledge and wealth so that we build an environment that's based on need versus merit, right? So it has to be ambitious. You have to have the ambition to actually accomplish something, and we'll treat you as family. But that also means that in a family environment, when things suck, when you aren't really doing what you're supposed to, when you're not really taking out the trash, there's vicious and vigorous argument that it was your job to actually throw away the trash, and you will hear about it from everyone. So that's where the ambition comes from, that we really want to make sure that people that care are actually going to be ambitious to do the same thing and outdo others. And that basically puts the four things together, right? It starts with integrity, which pushes us into growth, which if we grow, we are going to be able to actually help and build wealth and grow as people, and that gets us fulfilled. And we wouldn't be actually fully fulfilled. It's kind of an odd way of saying it, but we can't really be truly fulfilled if we don't bring someone along, if we aren't really together, right? That's the need for being connected with others or sharing our need for love. And we convert that to our family, which is people we're around. In many cases, if you think about how much time you spend with your family, if you're here for 8 or so hours, right, sometimes 10, unfortunately, you have actually more time with your work family versus your family, because you actually sleep for 6, 8, 7, 8 hours, right?
You give like 8, but if you like...
That's right. So that's why we also have family days, and we allow people to just bring their kids or whatever, dogs, because, well, it needs to be feel like it needs to feel like home. It needs to feel like this is truly acceptable. But ultimately, we are going to judge whether you're truly a family-oriented person if you're ambitious. If you come in flip-flops and stare at the game board all day long, you're playing darts, well, someone is going to tap you on the back and say, what the hell do you think you're doing? We're not going to work for you.
That's also connected, like integrity. You need to be honest to
right.
someone.
That's
like
right.
It's not like you shut up and just do nothing. If you see someone that is like flip-flopping or something, we just tell them, listen, you need to grow up. You need to work. You need just to grow up. You can play games. Nobody. About something.
It's really, you need to grow. You need to move forward in some manner. If this isn't the right place, then own up to your concerns and then tell us what the problem is. But kind of being quiet or keeping things under the carpet aren't really things that we can have.
Yep. Thank you for this. Just to explain to others what it means, our 4 core values, just to be explained to what that really means about
of course. Yeah. Glad we had the chat.